city itself is, it's not symbolic in any way. It's not been declared, part of the caliphate on one hand or central to the future of Iraq. But we want to get it back. I mean, the issue here is not brick and mortar. It's about defeating ISIL. So, as I said, I would much rather that Ramadi not fall, but it won't be the end of a campaign. Should it fall, we got to get it back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. He also went on to compare it to an oil center and said it's not as important as an oil center. Joining us now is Debbie Lee, founder of America's Mighty Warriors, Gold Star mother. Her son, Marc Allen Lee, first Navy SEAL killed back August 2nd, 2008. He sacrificed his life for that city. And here the general says it doesn't have any significance. Debbie, welcome.
Thank you so much. It was actually 2006.
Oh, why did I say 2008? I wrote 2006. I'm sorry about that. All right, so you hear the general say this, and then what's going through your mind?
I'll tell you what, I had a myriad of emotions. I was outraged, I was ticked, I was deeply hurt by that ridiculous comment, how insensitive, and the pain that was inflicted on not only me, but every mother, every father, every husband, every wife, every teammate who had a fallen brother who gave his life in Ramadi. It was just unconscionable and uncalled for, and I'm demanding an apology. That was just over the top.
Well, okay, you wrote a letter. When did you decide, at what point did you decide you were going to write a letter demanding an apology?
The moment that I heard on the news what he had said, there was probably a few seconds between the shock, the impact, the pain, and I just knew that I had to say something. I couldn't sit back and be quiet. Mark stood up in the direct line of fire 3 times that day, on purpose, willingly gave his life to save his teammates and for the freedoms that we had. He did that for you. He did that for me. He doesn't have a voice anymore that can speak out, and I knew I needed to be that voice on his behalf. They were not going to minimize the sacrifices that were made over there, and I knew they had to be called on the carpet. And so it was probably just within a matter of minutes that I grabbed my pencil and my pad and just wrote that out of my deep compassion in my heart, out of my pain, out of my pride for Mark, out of my pride for each and every one of our men and women who fought over there, who Ramadi did matter to them.
You wrote in your letter that you talk about how you traveled over there in 2007 to Camp Marc Lee and how you brought back soil.
I did. In my hero's room, I have some of that soil from the base of the sign that says Camp Marc Lee in my son's memory. And that is that city where he laid down his life. His blood to this day remains in that soil, along with so many others. And the sacrifices, our troops that have been blown up by the IEDs over there who had bullet holes rivet them, a piece of them is left over there. Our troops who came back, who are still struggling with PTS and TBI from the explosions, from what they endured over there. 2006, Ramadi was the hellhole of Iraq, as Mark's teammate said. The worst piece of real estate over there.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how do you explain? You know, if it was Barack Obama, you could almost write it off because the man is not a military man. How do you explain a man like this general saying what he said? Doesn't he know that what it's going to do to people like you and, as you mentioned, the others?
He has got to know the sacrifice, the pain, the struggle that we go through as loved ones, as we try to walk through every day without them, as we celebrate holidays without our hero at our table. He, more than anyone else, should know this pain and know the sacrifice. I got a call from his PAO Saturday morning trying to explain to me how much he loves the troops, how much he cares for them, that he's got a box of cards or something with the fallen heroes' names on it and puts them in his wallet and filters them out and how he really cares. And I said, then if he really cares, he will have no problem standing up and giving a public apology for the lack of wisdom in the words that he used.
And what response did you get to that?
So there probably won't be an apology.
There probably won't be an apology. That is very, very sad. Very, very sad to hear indeed. Is it any wonder morale is what it is? You know, they talk about the Army, for instance.
You know, and for us, That's why I started America's Mighty Warriors. I did it in response to Marc's amazing last letter home that's inspired millions and millions of people around the world. But I do know the price for our freedom. And our men and women who've come back home, we are dedicated to getting them back physically as much as humanly possible to that 100% level for them. And that's why we're paying for hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatments. We're working with Carrick Brain Institute in Texas. We're looking at other alternative therapies that have been proved to work for our troops. That's why we do retreats for them and for their families in Texas. That's why we're doing retreats for our families of our fallen. And the house that I'm sitting in now is the Heroes Hope Home, a place where families of the fallen can come stay for free.
Debbie, as I've always said, your son is looking down on you, and he's so proud. Give the website, please.
AmericasMightyWarriors.org.
All right.
And we appreciate the support from everybody. God bless.
God bless you, Debbie Lee. We're coming back, folks. Don't go away.